What's up, Rasmanites? Merry Christmas once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the original Christmas Classics Blu-ray set on the Rasman's Reality. Yes, I know there's no snow effect this time. The reason for it is because it was an awesome effect, and obviously, as you guys saw, I'm able to do it. But unfortunately, I learned from the Grinch review that I don't really have the system resources to do it every time. And what I mean by that is I started that render at 3 o'clock in the afternoon the day before you guys saw it go up, and it took overnight to finish. I just don't have the system resources. I'm still on a dual core processor, and it just isn't powerful enough to do a consistent effect like that without me doing that. Now, if I didn't live in an apartment where every little thing makes your electric bill go sky high, then I would be alright. But since I do, I just had to let that go. Once I get a more powerful system that will allow me to do effects like that without really bogging down my system, I will, of course, do more stuff like that, and hopefully by next year, when we do Christmas reviews again, that will be the case. Now, in the interest of time for this one, since we're talking about so much material, I'm not actually going to show you the disc art like I originally planned, because I didn't plan on doing these all in one review. But because we just ran out of time and had so much other stuff that I wanted to do, and because I tried that snow effect, like I said, when it took all day, it really threw me off. So I'm just gonna tell you what the disc art looks like real quick. The front of the Blu-ray cases are exactly the same for pictures that you see on the cardboard slipcase here. Santa, Rudolph, Hermie, and Frosty. On the inside of disc 1, which is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, is a picture of young Santa, aka Nick, and Winter. And on disc 2 is Rudolph and Hermie at the top, and the title Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Frosty and the kids underneath with Frosty the Snowman and Frosty Returns written in text. And the spines on the individual cases are green, so it's nice and uniform throughout the set. The first film that we're going to talk about is, of course, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Rakin decided to do something really cool with these specials, and that is create Christmas specials out of popular Christmas carols. The first, of course, being Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This one stars Mickey Rooney as Kris Kringle. I said Nick in the beginning, my bad, but it's Kris Kringle, aka Santa. And Fred Astaire is the mailman who tells the kids the story. And of course, just as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which we'll talk about momentarily. This one was done in claymation. The story is very, very good. It goes into detail about the origin of Kris Kringle and how he became Kris Kringle, and it's a really good, really entertaining story that warms the heart. And if there was a real Santa, I firmly believe that this would be the definitive story of Santa. Although I do have a special place in my heart for the Santa Clauses films with Tim Allen, which we will be reviewing next year, even if it has to be on DVD. The reason I don't have the third one on Blu-ray is and just keep holding out hope that they'll release the first two. But anyway, I still firmly believe, even though I love those stories, that Santa Claus is coming to town, if Santa was real, would be the story behind Santa. It's that well told, and the animation is just fantastic. And the Blu-ray transfer on it, which of course is the reason you want to watch a Blu-ray review, is absolutely tremendous. The film has been beautifully restored, could not look better. The source material is 100% intact. I had no idea that these specials could look as good as they do. Unfortunately, as is the case for much of the older material that you find, special features were not a thing that was in the forefront of filmmakers at the time these were made, so this is bare bones, as is every special on this disc. So all we can talk about for the remainder of the review is the same thing we did for Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is a little bit about the film and the Blu-ray transfer itself, and of course sound on Santa Claus is Coming to Town is immaculate. But yeah, for some reason you've never seen Santa Claus is Coming to Town, phenomenal special film. Go and see it every year because it's amazing. Next up on disc 2 is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, of course, is an expansion on the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Talks about Rudolph's origin and then throws inside great characters like Hermie the Elf and Yukon Cornelius, a miner who's obsessed with silver and gold. The Snowman who tells the story is played by Burl Ives, who was a phenomenal musician in the 60s and actually did the entire soundtrack for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Again, a phenomenal claymation animation story that warms the heart, one that you cannot survive a Christmas without seeing. I just can't say enough about it. The entire film is absolutely tremendous. All the side characters, the king, the winged king, lion on the island of misfit toys, like we said, Hermie and Yukon Cornelius, all the other toys on the island of misfit toys, Santa himself in this film, which you can see would be an older version of Kris Kringle. He's not played by Mickey Rooney, of course, in the film, but you could totally see the resemblance there because it is the Rankin Bass Santa, and it does flow and make sense. So yeah, everything about the film just phenomenal. Absolutely love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It is my favorite Christmas special of all time in a three-way tie, along with the Charlie Brown Christmas and the one we looked at last time, which was Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original 1966 version. On that same disc 2, we also have a Blu-ray presentation of Frosty the Snowman. Now, I was a little bit weary about this, to have two full films on one disc, fully restored to Blu-ray, but because they're only 15 minutes without commercials, and because there's no supplemental material and the space that is on a double-sided Blu-ray, they can get away with it if they do it right and don't cut corners, and that's exactly what they did. Frosty the Snowman looks absolutely amazing. The departure, of course, with Frosty is that it was 2D hand-drawn animation and not claymation, so there's not much amazement as far as the way they did claymation and how amazing that is and how realistic the characters look in claymation. But it is phenomenal 2D animation, and it shows why 2D animation is an art form that is forever missed in this day and age, I believe. So yeah, phenomenal special. Just again, a story that's based on the song Frosty the Snowman expansion, and the way they present Frosty and his struggle to survive, and how much he cares about the little girl who about dies from frostbite because she's trying to help him survive. And of course the musician in the story who redeems himself in the end. Just an absolutely phenomenal special. I can't imagine there's anyone that hasn't seen it, but like I said for the other two, well, actually I didn't say it for Rudolph, so I'll just reiterate it here. If you haven't seen any of these, you can't survive a Christmas without them. See them. Absolutely phenomenally restored Blu-ray transfer once again. Just immaculate picture. I had no idea that it could look as good as it does, and absolutely tremendous sound once again. And then this set finishes off with Frosty Returns. Frosty is played by John Goodman this time around. He was played originally by the man whose name you see in overlay right now. I forget the name, so I'm using the overlay feature. I know the name, but it's just not on the top of my head. Anyway, John Goodman takes over the role. I'm a big fan of John Goodman, but I don't think he made as good a Frosty as the original man did. So I just wasn't as impressed with Frosty Returns as I have always been with the original Frosty. But it's still a great special that warms the heart. Frosty comes back and helps a new boy and girl this time, and helps an overall town who wants to get rid of snow and winter, and reminds them about the magic of snow and winter. So again, a pretty good special, just not as good as the first one. And this one was filmed and edited on standard definition videotape, so it's just a bonus to go along with Frosty, since we got the original Frosty on here, and this was also done by Rankin Bass, Frosty Returns. So yeah, they just put it on here for completeness sake, but because it was all shot and mastered on standard def videotape, you just get a DVD transfer slapped on a Blu-ray disc, which is fine because it's the original source material and it can't look any better. The only problem I had with it, and I apologize, I didn't do the research like I should have beforehand, but it's because I trusted my eyes. If I'm wrong, I will of course do the research and correct myself in overlay right now. But I believe Frosty Returns was originally a 4:3 master, and it was pan and cropped to go full screen, and it just looks a little bit stretched out, and I didn't particularly care for it. As far as transfer goes, the special itself is great to have and own, but the transfer they could have done better with. If I'm right. If I'm wrong, then nothing I'm saying at this point matters, and you will have seen that in overlay by now. But yeah, overall, the original Christmas Classics Blu-ray set is just absolutely amazing all the way around. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Immaculate transfers on all three films that were fully restored from film. I cannot recommend this set enough. These are 4 classics that you cannot go through any Christmas without. Rankin Bass is phenomenal at what they do. So yeah, if you have the means to play Blu-ray, totally go and pick this one up. Next time, even though I watched Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol first, next time, just to continue with continuity, we'll take a look at Rankin Bass's 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and then we'll finish it off with Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol for the week. But again, go and pick these up. Highly recommended if you don't have them already. This is reality according to the Razman. And Razman style, it's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.